Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM22 story, The Head Coach, with me, Daniel. We're back for part 53 today, and well, it was all going a little too well, wasn't it? We had a little blip at the end of the last episode and the game after off camera, but all the sides around us and below us in the league, we've generally done really well against. We've got two important games today against Moneybags Newcastle in 6th, and then against West Brom, a crucial game against the side in the relegation zone. Then we play 4 back-to-back games against top 7 teams, and that's going to be a real judge of where we are. The reason we're back a game earlier than planned, though, is not because Newcastle have got the money. It is because, as the title gives away, it started to go wrong, and badly. We have got an epic injury crisis, particularly between the sticks in goal, but it isn't much better elsewhere either. So if you're looking forward to seeing if we can come through it, I'd be amazed if we manage to get points in the short term. Please do chuck a thumbs up on it. Subscribe down below for daily FM22 content from 2 long-term stories. A big one with Hemel Town coming up tomorrow. You can find that playlist up in the eye above. There's also a link there to the Twitch channel, the podcast channel for regular live streams, and much, much more across the channel too. You can also keep up with all the socials down in the description below. But thank you as always for your incredible support as we turn our attention back to Crystal Palace, and things quite frankly have been going amazingly on the pitch. We've won 8 games since we've come in, we've taken them from 1 point to 25, we're 8 clear of the relegation zone, we've sorted out the goal difference. But we have had a largely easy spell of games. I know we were shocked about the West Ham and City ones early doors, but that was still in new manager bounce territory. We had a disappointing defeat against Villa last time out. We then got battered at home to Chelsea while resting a few. Lanes actually gave us the lead in that. But 5'9" Eddie Segura really struggled with Romelu Lukaku. I think that would be a fair assessment. Since then though, 3 clean sheets against struggling sides, and we got crucial victories. A 2-0 win away at Sheffield United. Tyrese Campbell and Selly Boyer, the 2-star attacking players with the goals. A 3-0 win at home to Southampton. Lanes, Abdul Kadir and Tyrese Campbell, all of the front 3 scoring. And a 1-0 win at Brentford. I'm sure you know who scored it. Tyrese Campbell, the star of the show. So that is all looking great. However, between that game and this one, the last 8 days have been carnage. And they have been crisis mode. Because if we go to the medical centre, we are missing today. Dele Alli's still out for the season. We know that very well. Danny Cardenas picked up a knock. Him and Bartos actually got injured on the same day. Backup keeper, not a huge worry. At the time, I was quite okay with it. He's out for a month, as was Bartos Sliz. He picked up an injury, and unfortunately we were going to be missing him. No crisis just yet. Then, Teo the left back, coming back from a long-term injury, picks up another knock. He's now wanted. I'm not sure if he'll end up staying. But that, with 2 games in 3 days, is not ideal. Then move down to more crisis. John McCormack, he's one of the star youngsters here, but he keeps getting injured, is a big problem. Then there's an even bigger one, because Kamil Krabara, the first choice keeper, has also got injured and will miss all of the 3 games over the festive break. We have now got 2 games in a space of 48 hours. We have no senior goalkeepers, and we are missing 4 or 5 other senior pros. It leaves the squad that big. We've promoted a goalkeeper from the under-23s, Pete Dobson, 1.5 star ability, 2.5 potential. He's not very good in the air. He's just about 6 foot and he can't jump. So from set pieces, we're going to be weak. And then a greyed out one that's been sent to fill the squad is Jackson Parkin, who should not be going near a Premier League football club. So we're down to the bare bones. We've not really got a squad here. We're going to have to put a few under-23s on the bench, and we're going to have to put an under-23 in goal. It is not the way we wanted to finish the year. And after things looking positive and getting that little buffer ahead of playing all the top teams, are we going to end up now going on that run of 4, 5, 6 straight defeats? Well, unless Dougie Freedman saves us in early January, I think that might be the case, unfortunately. Otherwise, though, things have been going fantastically. We're not a team that likes a draw, but aside from that, I can't complain. We play Newcastle, who are in 6th place. They are a side in recent years that have done quite well. They had one poor year, but 6th, 8th, 7th, they've had a few good finishes. They've got a good manager. Billy Gilmore is their key player and is now a world-class midfielder. So Newcastle United are very much an established side now. Let's go and get through to our lineup though and see what on earth we can pick for this one. Just to give you an indication, I'll show you what we picked in the last game. They've got Gilmore, Kovacic, Jared Bowen, David Turnbull, Yusuf Poulsen, some interesting names there. But the team we picked last game, no goalkeeper, 3 of the subs out injured, and a couple of others that are potentially going in January. Boya, one of them, he's got a release clause. He's wanted by Spurs. I didn't realise this. 76 million he can go. I'd imagine that's going to be exercised by Spurs, so I'm hoping we don't lose him too early in the month. Right then, Dobson might be a 1.5-star keeper, but in the role we use, he's only 1 star. We've got an under 18 on the bench who's going to cover the goalkeeping ranks if we do get another injury. We've then brought in Fitzgerald to the 23s, who we actually started against Chelsea because we didn't have a backup option. He's a pretty good young fullback. He's great in the air. He's 6'4". And I'd like to get him a bit more football later in the year because he looks like he's got first team potential, to be brutally honest. The first 11, aside from the keeper, is actually first choice. We're just very weak on the bench, particularly defensively. So it's Dobson in goal for the first time ever. In fact, I don't think he's ever played for Palace. Oh, he only joined this summer. So previously he was in Spain. He's been a Villarreal youngster. And then he's played for a lot of very lower league clubs in Spain. But he has not experienced proper professional football. We've got Tete and Mitchell, the fullbacks, with Tormena and Mepham centre-half. Going to need a big game from those two, particularly defending set pieces. Tahar, Boya and Saceres, the midfield 3. With Abdulkadir, Lanes and Tyrese Campbell. Probably tasked with outscoring the opposition, because I don't see us defending very well. Let's go and get into the first of the double header. And we need to hope for a result, because most of these won't be fit in 2 days' time. Well, here we go. We're going to tell the lads to pick up where they left off. And we've got to be honest here. If it looks like we're going to lose this comfortably, I will make changes because we've got the game in 2 days and we want to rest at least 3 of the lads. I saw that Onana was in goal for Newcastle. I missed the lineup on the way. But yeah, it's pretty strong. It's fair to say. We're down the left though. Our favourite position to attack with Mitchell to Lanes. In the first minute, it'd be a great start if we could nick a goal. Keep that bounce going. Lanes to the edge of the box, unopposed to Boya. Into Abdulkadir. Oh, we're going to have a VAR check there, but that could be a brilliant start. It was very close. But you can still see we've got that attacking threat. I've got to say, in terms of unexplained success, disallowed. I thought it was awarded. But in terms of unexplained success, this has been one of our greatest ever head coach stories. The problem is I think it might end now, as Solomon gets it on the left from the Paulson flick on. If he crosses in, we know Dobson won't deal with it, as it's back to Gilmore. Tagliafico, brilliant left back too, to Kovacic. Out wide again, Gilmore cuts in, finds Paulson, who I think was off as well. VAR is going to be busy today because we're 2 minutes in. They've ruled out a goal for us, and that one to the naked eye looked offside. But I've been wrong before. Paulson's listening. It is disallowed. We survived the first chance of the match. Well, nearly 15 minutes on the clock, we're back with a Newcastle goal kick, which Onana will take. Surprised by how direct they're being, actually, as Mitchell gives it away to Bowen. He's got Dallo behind him in support. I did notice Esri Konsa on the bench too. Lots of good players here, as Paulson heads just over the bar. Thankfully, Dobson didn't have work to do, because I'm really dreading the moment he does. As it's another Newcastle goal kick, they seem to be going for a wave of attacks now. But it would be lovely to get a result as Boya comes forward. Got the ability on the counter-attack. We'll make the most of him while he's here. Gets to the byline, delivers in. Blocked from the Lanes shot. Bowen hacks it downfield. We look alright, you know. I just worry if we don't take chances that we will concede. But with half an hour gone, I'm delighted with the display. And the longer we can keep this 0-0, the better. As we've got another corner with Abdulkadir. In-swinger to the back post. Mepham's up. Oh, him and Tormena at the back post. Big mountains of men. And Mepham has scored. It is 1-0 Palace. And we're doing it again. I said it in the last episode. I'll say it again here. Can somebody please explain how this keeps happening? It is absolutely ridiculous, the form we've had with Crystal Palace. As Tormena plays short to Boyer in the middle. Just breezes past 2 players. Releases Tyrese Campbell. Oh, it's gone just wide. He had to score that one, you feel. But another brilliant first half performance. Another wonderful display. And we might have an under-23s keeper in goal, but we look by far the better team. We're playing one of the top sides in the league yet again. And we're really making them look quite average. I don't quite know how it's happening. Well, a quarter of the game left. No highlights in this second half. And I feel like now we've just got to protect a few players. So, let's bring off Tyrese Campbell. He's the most important one. I'm tempted to bring on Mariki, you know, and just play with a target man. I feel it might suit this game. And in fact, that's what I'm going to do. I'm also going to replace Saceres. He will come off for Callum Styles. He's ended his unhappiness. He's sorted himself out a bit now. And then at the back, I don't know what more we can do, really. I've already decided I want to play the first team against West Brom and rest them all at the weekend, but we saw how that worked against Villa. I'm not too worried about the wingers because Bueno and Morcio are pretty strong deputies. But I don't want to leave someone on and risk their fitness for the next game. So who is most important and who isn't going to impact us too much here? I feel it might have to be one of the wingers. So Lanes will come off for Morcio. I'm not sure which way round they're better. Definitely that way. Let's go for it. Well, this is fascinating. We're 5 minutes from doing it again. I'm just running out of words. I'm sure you can grasp what I'm talking about, and I'm sure you feel it as well. How on earth are we doing this so comfortably with Palace? This should have been a real dogfight. And look at the situation we're in. We've got a ridiculous goalkeeper. We've got by far the worst team on paper. And we're still somehow achieving good results here. I'm going to drop Boyer to a support duty. I'm going to do the same with the two wingers on the right and left. And we're going to drop the fullbacks to defensive duties, get the time wasting on for the last minute. But in truth, we've not had a highlight in this half, so there's not a massive threat to our goal. We're going to time waste, we're going to drop the tempo. I'm not going to do a huge amount because I don't feel ultimately that worried at the minute. But let's go and get back into it. 3 minutes of stoppage time to hold on. But we've dominated the stats and we've won another game. How on earth is this happening? I can't work it out. We're now somehow finding ourselves in a battle for Europe. I can't explain it. I'm very sorry. We'll be back in 48 hours. West Brom at home. Back for fitness test time. Boyer is not fit, but is apparently improving really well in training. Not helping when we're trying to keep hold of him despite a release clause. Lots of interesting messages over the last couple of days, it's got to be said. If we go down a little bit here, we had a scout meeting which produced a brilliant young player, but for some reason doesn't want to join at all, so I'm sure Dougie won't be able to get him. It's loan listed though, so fingers crossed. We got Mepham with man of the match for his goal in the last game. And a quick shout out to Dobson. We didn't mention it. Clean sheet on debut. He deserves a huge amount of credit for that. 7.4 rating. Didn't have to make many saves. So what's that? 1 save parried and 2 saves held. But did enough of a job, got us the result. And if anything's going to make him improve, then surely it's Premier League football. Today though, we face West Brom with what I imagine will be a depleted squad. I mean, it's ridiculous. Look at where we are. Look at where we are in comparison to 1 point, which is what this club was on when we joined. We've won 9 out of 11 football matches in the Premier League, and I almost feel it's becoming a bit too easy. I don't really understand how it's happening. Let's go and have a look at who's fit though, because this could be a difficult day, and it looks like it's going to be. Firstly, the ones we've taken off are alright, a couple of others aren't too bad, and a few are just going to have to live with it and play. So West Brom, let's have a look at who their strikers are. Because if they're big men, Hegarty is 6 foot, pretty big jumper. He's a wonder kid, but we're not going to worry about that. Because I wanted to bring in Segura, but that's not going to work. So, do you know what? Fitzgerald's going to get a game at right back. We'll do it. I was tempted to bring Rankin Costello in, but I'm not sure it's the right game for that. And he's not the best in the tackle. So let's bring in a proper fullback. In terms of the right wing, we're going to replace Abdul Qadir with John Morcio. And then in midfield, maybe Boyer out for Styles, just to give us some fresh legs. On the bench, we've got no real options, so I'm going to promote a couple of youth players. Aside from that, it will pretty much stay the same. So youngsters Rodney and Shay Lodge on the bench in place of Tete and Abdul Qadir. Boyer does stay on the bench just in case. The centre-halves are going to have to play through it. But it's not too bad. Let's see how we get on. How many changes is it in total? It is, let's get through the squad number very quickly. 3 changes. Fitzgerald, Morcio and Styles in. Tete, Boyer and Abdul Qadir out. Certainly not strengthening the side, is it? Well, if we know where Dougie needs to improve, it's certainly defensive squad depth. 2 youngsters in the back 5 from the under-23 squad. Otherwise, it's not a bad team though. So we've got to remember that. We've got to try and look after these lads as well as possible. We're playing against a side out of form. We've got great attacking talent. We've still got the big men from set pieces. Cross your fingers, it'll be enough. As West Brom start playing out from the back, just 7 minutes on the clock. The last thing we want to do is spend a lot of this game out of possession, because they've certainly got more legs than us. Mepham heads away early doors. Not got the pace in behind though. Hegarty does his man. It's going to be a goal for West Brom. And maybe playing both unfit centre-halves will be a mistake. Kasumu's reached the Premier League. He set it up. and the Wonder Kid puts it in. 1-0 West Brom, not the best start in the world. I don't think Mepham's going to last that long. Knackered after 25 minutes as Tom Maynard heads just over from a set piece. Probably our best chance of scoring until Segura comes on, then it's not. But both centre-halves are cream-crackered and we're only half an hour into this match. It was a team selection mistake and ultimately we haven't got a big enough squad to win both games over the Christmas period. At half-time we're going to be trailing 1-0. And although it's been an even game, we look so vulnerable at the back. As Lanes plays short to Tahart, we're into 1 minute of stoppage time. Could we nick an equaliser against the odds? Here is Tormena to Mepham. Probably be happy just to have the ball standing still. To Mitchell, to Lanes. Oh, that's a nasty tackle. Just misses his man. Saceres is through. Lobs the keeper. Oh, just beats the bar onto the roof of the net. Tyrese Campbell made an amazing run there. Just dropped in, took both centre-halves with him. Saceres had acres of space to run into, but he didn't take advantage. We're going to tell Dallas to show a bit more, and I'm going to do it. I know it's not the best decision for set pieces, but Segura on for Mepham, and I'm going to go and rearrange how we deliver our set pieces. Back in a moment for the second half. Into the second half then, Segura's on. All of the defensive bits are going to be done by Fitzgerald, the tall right back. All of the attacking bits by Tahart, the 6'2" holding midfielder. Though he might be the next man off at this rate, because physically, he's really struggling. And I don't think we've got a tall replacement for him. So what we're going to do is have a little look at who can drop in. I think Saceres isn't too bad in the air, so that would slightly make sense. Rodney's 6'2", but he's a rubbish player. I'm going to risk Boyer. Boyer on for Tahar. We're going to bring Saceres into the holding role. Boyer into centre mid. Styles into the central midfield role. Boyer will be a Mazzala. Let's get off either Lanes or Mitchell. Well, we haven't got a left back, so that answers that. Lanes is actually playing really well, but I don't think we can do it yet. I'm going to give it 10 more minutes. Right, 17 minutes left. Forget fitness now. Morcillo's been appalling. Let's get on. Brian and Bueno. Not had much of a chance to shine yet. Inverted winger on attack. Just go and do your worst. Try and take a man on. Nick a goal. It's a West Brom corner though, and we're a little shorter than we were at the start. And it's come back to haunt us. And look who scored it. Those who followed the head coach last year, Callum Morton was a hero at Derby County for us. And now he's come back to ultimately seal our third defeat in charge. And let's be fair, 2 of the 3 times we've fallen in this save, the Villa game and this one, are when our squad's been tested, because we've not got a great squad beyond the 11. In terms of the ball in, no, Boyer nearly scores there. In terms of the general play though, with our first 11, it's only really Chelsea what we've lost to, and we chose to opt out a few players there. It's not been a terrible start, and look, when we came in, we'd have snapped your arm off for where we are now. So no complaints, no panic, but a defeat against West Brom. It will help them in their relegation survival push, and they might want to add to it here for the goal difference as they get it on the left wing. Grimes delivers to the back post, Lanes back, Mitchell hoofs downfield. But if anything, West Brom are going to add a third. We're out of puff. Tormena, Mitchell knackered. It was the worst possible time to have 7 players out injured. And he's come back to catch up with us. Dobson's not been bad in goal, it has to be said. But it's not enough, as Haggerty, the Wonder Kid, releases Saranic. Mitchell does really well to get there in fairness. Dobson hoofs clear, but it's all West Brom. And at the moment, they can score as many as they want. I'm going to drop back to balance, because going positive hasn't worked. If anything, it's putting us vulnerable to a third. And Appleton finds Saranic, who might deliver it. Callum Morton, what a player he is. And he scored the third. Any chances available for transfer for Dougie Freedman? I don't know. But what we're seeing from this game, what we saw from the Villa game in the last episode, is when we've got those 2 games in a week, we need some help with the squad. Hopefully Dougie Freedman can do that in January. But the first 11 against Spurs last episode, Wolves the one before, even against Newcastle here, they're a very good side and they can compete at Premier League level. The issue, of course, if we look at when we're next going to be back, is that we've got another midweek game in January. We're playing a lot of top sides. Our next 3 league games, Liverpool, United and Arsenal. We're playing Southampton, a Premier League team in the FA Cup. So we can't really just rotate and expect to win. And all the while, we're worrying about Boyer. Is he going to get taken for his minimum fee release? Yes, it will give the club a lot of money, but Dougie's got to invest it well. And at the moment, I'm not confident in that. So the January transfer window is going to be key. Dougie Freedman getting his first chance to work with us. We are going to be back at the end of the month either for Leicester and transfer deadline day, or for transfer deadline day and an FA Cup 4th round tie. We'll see which one it is when we get there. But if you did enjoy this episode, another brilliant performance by our first team against Newcastle, and a little bit of a running out of steam against West Brom, please do put a thumbs up on the video. If you want to stay up to date and see how we get on in January, subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on. We'll be back in 2 days' time with this. In the meantime, though, Hemel Hempstead's story will continue tomorrow. That one at 3:30 as usual. There's links in the eye above to the Twitch channel, to the football podcast, and much, much more. But let me know in the comments, what do you think will happen in January? Do you think we're still going to have a good season? And how on earth are our first team winning every game? Because that's the bit I'm finding quite difficult to understand. Hopefully, I'll see you in a couple of days' time. Fingers crossed we won't have been battered by all the top sides. And if all's gone well, we might have a couple of new signings to introduce. I'll see you next time to find out.